This is Chapter 8, Business Organizations, discussion number 1, Getting Started. This chapter we're talking about business organizations, so we need to realize or understand how businesses get started and how they operate. So we need an entrepreneur. This is a person who's a risk taker, who's willing to put their livelihood on the line in order to create a new business in order to get the profits, that whole idea of profit incentive. They assess what the factors of production are that are needed and they organize them to efficient use. Now, instead of reinventing the wheel every time someone starts a business, there are government and private programs to help these startup companies with various helps. For example, they can help with rent for a building or get them lower interest rate loans, give them management advice, maybe organizational equipment. Sometimes these programs are called small business incubators, gives you that kind of visual picture of an egg sitting underneath a heat lamp to help them hatch and to help them get out and get started. So, some basic ideas in business ownership so that we can speak the same language. Expenses, the costs to do the work, whether it be getting your factors of production of land and labor, buying tools, capital, and advertising, things of that nature. You need to have an inventory of the items that you are going to sell or the materials that you need in order to provide your service. For quick access, you don't need to run to Staples every singular time that you need a note card. You keep an inventory on hand. Wages, you're going to have to pay your employees. Advertising, the public announcements for possible business opportunities. And your company is going to have assets, that which the company owns and that's able to do things. Remember that you're going to have to spend money in order to make money, so you're going to have expenses up front. You're going to have to pay people to work for you in order to make profit. You're going to have to spend money to get inventory. So just remember that whole simple process. You are going to have to spend money in order to get it. Now, when you get the money, you get receipts. That's money received from the customers. And then you also get profits. All those expenses that you paid, and then if you set your prices correctly, you should have money left over. That's what we call profits. Most importantly, though, for any business startup, is that you do need documentation. Now, documentation is very helpful to the business owner. It helps them see where the money is going. They don't have to keep track of everything in their heads. It also allows them to possibly see where trends are, to see what things are selling well, what things are not selling well, what kind of processes they need to implement. But more importantly, it's also very important to keep your documentation because the government says you have to keep documentation. Not only is to prove that you are doing legitimate businesses, but it's also most importantly, as far as the government is concerned, that taxes are being paid. And we're not solely talking about, your profits, income, and then an income tax, but more likely than not, your company probably is supposed to be collecting sales tax. Or there might be some type of excise tax that you need to be aware of. And so that's extremely important. I know, for example, in Franklin County in the last couple of years, there have been a couple businesses that that didn't do their documentation, or they kind of winked at it and did not pay the sales tax that they were required to, and the business has been shut down because of that. So that is extremely important to make sure that you're taking care of your paperwork to keep yourself happy and also to keep the government happy. This concludes discussion number 1, Getting Started, as part of Chapter 8, Business Organizations.